You got a bass?
Yeah.
Wow, what kind of bait you got there? A little crawdad?
Yeah.
Wow. On our brand new little boat?
Yeah.
Look there, he threw it right under that big old rock and he come out and grabbed it, didn't he?
Yeah. The first fish I ever caught.
Well, it's about your 10th fish, but that's your first bass you ever caught. Ain't it?
It smells like water.
Yeah, you want to kiss it?
No.
Okay. Alrighty, well, we're going to put him back.
No.
Okay. Okay, here's our little fish getter. This is a 14-foot aluminum John boat, and it is a Monarch brand. I think it's a 1982. And I traded some work for this boat and the motor and gas tank, and I've got 2 seats for it. And I had a trolling motor my cousin Jimmy gave me. So with all that, well, we're ready to fish. Got it all licensed up for the year. Got a real good deal on this boat from some good friends of mine. Mr. Wendell, if he's watching, I sure appreciate him. And we took this boat, me and Finley, once, and we tried to load it out of the truck with just me and Finley, a 4-year-old, and it just about took me out. So I took it the second time on a 10-foot utility trailer, and that was a pain, and that's how I hurt my thumb. You can see here, there ain't no thumbnail left. I mean, it's just about an 1/8 inch of a thumbnail. And the way I done that was pulling this boat up onto the trailer, and the momentum, I guess, of all the weight, I had a 6 gallon of gas and a battery and the motor and all that. And when I pulled that boat like real hard up onto the trailer, I just couldn't get my hand out fast enough, and it pinched my hand like this between the boat, and you see it's kind of sharp. Pinched my finger between the boat and the trailer, and of course the fingernail popped off immediately, blood running down my arm. And luckily the game warden was there, and he was actually helping me and Finley load this boat, and he pushed it away from the dock, so I pulled it, and he doctored me up. But I had this little tiny trailer here. This was only an 8-foot boat trailer. It had a little dump and had old tires on it. And it was just way too short. The boat wouldn't even fit on it. So I took and made me a new tongue for it. And if Mr. Tommy Brooks is on here watching this, close your eyes now, because I'm not a welder. I welded all this, but now I'm not a welder, don't claim to be. But I believe it will hold. Couldn't find the piece of metal I needed, so lo and behold, I had 2 pieces of this 3x4 angle iron, and I've welded it together and made me a 3x4 tongue, because that's what was on it before. It was a 3x4 inch, I think it was channel, and they had welded them together, but I used this angle iron, and it seems to work good. And now I'm not done welding on the tongue yet, so before y'all start commenting that it'll break or whatever, I've just got it welded in about 4 spots down the length. It's about 8 feet I added. So I'm going to go back and clean out the crack with a grinder all the way down. And then I will take my stick welder and I'll weld a solid bead all the way down that on this side. And then again on this side on the bottom. And that may be overkill to go all the way, I don't know. But I don't think it would hurt nothing. But I welded me a jack on here, and got to drill a hole in my hitch and put a hitch bolt in, and then I've got to put my safety chains. But also I had this old crank, and the gears was kind of wore down, so I took a little wire feed welder and I just built these gears up a little bit, and it's working really well so far. Going to go right here and make me a stop for when I pull the boat up on here. I can bump up to this, and I'm going to pad it with carpet and cover it up good. And I think that'll work well for that. Now, if any of you rednecks on here that like to make stuff yourself too, see anything that you would suggest I do to this, well, just let me know. I'm always open for suggestions. I thought about if I need some more support under this front, but I'm not sure on that yet if it's needed or not. It's got two 2x4s I put on there and wrapped them with outdoor carpet. And we got a new set of tires on it, thanks to my father-in-law. He had these for his pontoon trailer, and they were really not they set it up too high, but they weren't good for this. And started spray painting it, but I run out of paint, so I'll have to get me some more. But this, I'm not putting a bunch of money into this project. I'm just, as I get a little extra, I'll do it. But it came with a, let's see, a 9.9 horsepower Game Fisher motor. And I'm sure it's from the 80s as well, 80s or 90s. But it hadn't been started in, I think they said 2 years. And I pulled it one time on the water and it fired right up. So, had a little trouble the first time. I kept flooding the engine, but I didn't really know how to start it. So once I figured it out, how to adjust everything, well, I can start it up very easily now. Another thing, I wanted some input from you fellow fishermen and redneck ingenuity builders out there. Is this transom in the back is, I know it's marine plywood, but it's rotted in the top, and where it's tapered at an angle like this, this is all welded together up top here. I don't know any way to get a new piece in there. So if you have any suggestions for that, please let me know. I thought if it's cut a little short on the sides, if it don't go all the way flush, which I can't feel in there, maybe there would be enough room if I slid it all the way down to the bottom to push it in and then raise it up and it'd go into slots. So that's my thinking right now, but I'm unsure of that. So if you got any suggestions for that, let me know. And because I'm sure it needs to be one solid piece. But that's something I'm unsure of and got me a little bit puzzled. But it's a really good sound little boat. Got foam in underneath here, and I got a little seat that slides in these grooves. And my plan is, when I save up a little money for it, I'm going to build a deck over here on the back and put me some storage under here to cover up my gas tank. And then I'm going to build me a deck on the front of this thing, covering all this. Put me a bass seat standing up where I can sit up there and run a trolling motor. I need to get me a foot-powered trolling motor too, because I've got a little hand one, and it'd work you to death trying to fish and watch Mr. Finley and run it at the same time. So I'm going to build me a deck here and put me a couple lids on it where I can get down in here and have some storage. And I think it'll be more enjoyable of a boat and make it like a mini bass boat kind of. And I'll put foam and carpet in it probably. But that's on down the road. It'll still catch the bass and the crappie and the bluegill as she sits right now. So I was kind of proud of this little thing, and was wanting some of y'all's input. I know there's a lot of you all on here that fish a lot, and if you got any suggestions, why, you just let me know, and I appreciate it.